Oh, we're back. I mean, we're here again. Welcome to There's a Will. I'm Will, and this guest with me is Nicholas Richardson. You may recognize him from his many appearances on Poland Daily, including reading the news, which he does with great skill and aplomb. I don't know what aplomb is. I think it sounds like
I think you're trying to be complimentary, so I will accept it in the spirit in which it was meant.
But what is aplomb? Is that like fruit or something?
Well, that's a plum, not a plum.
Oh, a plum. Okay,
Yes.
I was confused. You have a plummy accent, we could say. Isn't English fun?
English is fun. No, you're right, but English is one of the few languages where actually your accent is quite significant. Any Englishman can open his mouth, and everybody who's another Englishman can know everything
They find out everything they need to know about
where they're from, etc., where they went to school, probably.
When Americans start talking, it's confusing. You don't have any idea
you have some regional,
what they're saying.
But
right?
you do have some regional accents in America. I mean, somebody from sort of New York has a very different accent to somebody from Alabama, for example.
Alabama?
Alabama.
What are you're going to sing that song now?
I'm not, because I don't think...
Well,
I was thinking of another one, Sweet Home Alabama, but I'm not quite as good.
It's Alabama.
Alabama.
But I like how Alabama's nice, too.
The southern accents are quite nice, actually. Yeah.
I had an English friend who said Miami instead of Miami.
Miami.
I liked Miami. I thought that was kind of classy.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I never corrected him. I just said,
no.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, you should correct people.
Well, no, it's not polite, is it? By the way, stop saying Alabama.
Alabama.
It rhymes with Obama.
Obama from Alabama. Yeah.
Also not good. We mustn't make fun of past presidents.
Yes, because Arkansas doesn't rhyme with Texas.
No, it's. I was having that discussion. It should be Kansas.
Kansas.
Arkansas, right?
Arkansas and Kansas.
I had a friend discussion with a friend of mine last night from Arkansas. Why it isn't Kansas. But none of this really matters.
No,
what really matters is that we're here again.
Exactly. Always a pleasure.
Indeed, it is. It's always a pleasure to see you. And today we have a lot of exciting things we're going to talk about in several installments some travel in Poland.
Super.
You've been around. You've been around the block.
I've seen a few places in Poland, yes.
You've been around
Probably
the block.
not quite as many as you.
What's that?
Probably haven't seen quite as much as you have. Especially with your travel show, which is...
In my travel shirt.
Which has taken you further afield than you'd been before, probably.
Not really.
Really?
No, not yet. There are places that I haven't seen.
I mean, well, this is one of the frustrating things.
There are a lot of places, but even if particularly Western Poland.
When you're at home or when you're at university or wherever, you often don't see a lot of the stuff which is immediate on your doorstep because sort of normal life gets in the way and you don't see it as a tourist. It's your daily life, so you don't make the effort to get out and about.
That's really true.
In the way you should do. And I think the same as with me in Poland. I've not been out and about.
That's true. No, we're here in Warsaw.
We're here in Warsaw.
And we still don't see everything in Warsaw, which I noticed in doing the travel show.
Well, I noticed in doing the history show, for example, the program which is coming up about the Saxon kings of Poland and the Ogród-Saski.
The sexy kings? What?
Saxon.
Oh, Saxon kings.
The Wetins,
I misunderstood
to give them their family name. But on the pavement on Krakowski Przedmieście, there is a plaque which shows you a diagram of how the Ogród-Saski was originally and talks about the Saxon axis.
That's one of the great attractions in the old days.
I must have walked over that plaque thousands of times
I've never seen it.
and never noticed it. It's there, this big thing in the pavement.
It's across from where the president lives, right?
Yeah, well, the actual place is just actually, if you can imagine, you've got the Bristol on your right-hand side.
Right.
On that side of the pavement. Then you've got the Europejski.
Raffles Europejski.
And the other building, and sort of right betwixt them. It's right in the middle, and you look straight
betwixt?
up. Betwixt.
Isn't that a candy bar?
No, that's Twixt.
Oh,
this is betwixt.
You're confusing me.
Of course. Well,
Try to go slowly.
You're American. You will expect to be confused several times during this program.
I'm from Virginia.
But don't worry. Well,
it's almost the same as being American.
Almost the same. Yes, almost the same.
Yeah, and you're from Yorkshire.
I'm from Yorkshire originally. Yes, I'm a Yorkshireman.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So we're very blunt, and we're full of opinions, and we're always right.
OI.
But anyway, the point is.
Do they say OI in Yorkshire? They say it. A-up?
A-up.
A-up? A-up. But not OI. I heard they say OI.
No, I think that's probably a Hollywoodism from somewhere else. But the point is, this major piece of interesting history, I'd walked over umpteen times and never noticed it on the ground. It's just bizarre, isn't it?
Listen, Nicholas, what would you say? If you had a visitor to Warsaw, what would you say is the top 3 things that you would want to show them?
Well, I think the museums here are very good. So I'd choose one of the museums. Probably, if it's this time of the year, the Warsaw Uprising Museum.
You'd go there.
Because that's just very interesting. A lot of people are vaguely aware of the Warsaw Uprising. A lot of people get confused, of course, between the Warsaw Uprising in 1944 and the Ghetto Uprising of 1943. So I think it will be interesting for them to sort of to help them correct any misconceptions they may have. Two, it's a very modern museum, so it's quite good for the reactive stuff. And three, it's just a fascinating and very moving story. And it was a major battle in World War II.
Which was taking place at this time.
Yes, yeah.
At this time of the year.
The Warsaw, I mean, it's very. We could go on about this subject for a long time. But the
1st of August to the 3rd of September.
Yes,
in 44.
Yeah,
1944.
Yeah, exactly. These are very. But the Warsaw Uprising, of course, got sort of caught up in this great movement and this battle between the Germans and the Soviet forces, which is why it became so ferocious, largely because of the German counteroffensive against the Russians, having been beaten back across Belarus.
And Warsaw being squeezed in between.
Yes. Yeah. But the other tragic thing from the Polish point of view is because of the Ninth Army was focusing on fighting the Russians just over the river. Of course, there were no Wehrmacht soldiers available to put down, as they saw it, to put down the revolt, which was
You've been reading about this,
I have, yeah. I read a very good book.
You've been reading a book about this. Okay,
but the
I
point
knew
is,
it.
But it becomes, and this is very interesting why you would take people to this sort of places, because it's the only major land battle in World War II undertaken by German forces, where the SS and not the Wehrmacht was the main protagonist. And that, of course, led, as we know, to all sorts of tragedy. So, I mean, I think you go to a modern museum like that. I mean, there are other museums here as well.
Where else would you go? I mean, that's a museum. That's the Warsaw Uprising Museum.
Well,
a name synonymous with Warsaw.
Obviously, the Old Town, and walk around the Old Town and the New Town.
You'd walk around the Old Town. But the Old Town is a new town.
Yes. Well,
and the New Town is an Old Town.
Well, exactly. It's a bit like Edinburgh. There's a New Town and an Old Town, although the architecture and the periods of time are rather different.
No, I meant that everything was knocked down.
Yes, and then of course now, since the restoration, there's the marvellous walks along the river frontage on the embankment there has been.
So you would go to, and you would say that's your number 3.
Yeah, I think so, because I think it's nice to get a bit of. Then because from the embankment you can see the history, you see the modern skyline. You can get a sense of the place, and also rather uniquely, I think, for a major European capital city. If you stand on this side of the river and look across at the trees where it's been undeveloped, you could be in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it has that same. It reminds me on a slightly smaller scale of when I gazed the first time across the Zambezi in Africa. You see, there's this greenery in this river. Wow. So it's actually quite. And you don't get in cities now that most of them have been built up on both sides of the river. Yeah. So that's, I think, a unique.
It's unique. They say it's the biggest beach on a river in Europe.
Yes, and let's hope it stays that way.
We don't see that attraction, but people have been writing about that and saying,
it is.
It's an extraordinary thing.
No, when you're lying on that beach, and you can see the skyline of Warsaw, the Old Town and the New Town, but also, more spectacularly, you can see these new skyscrapers which are emerging very rapidly.
Stay with us for more exciting stuff about Warsaw in the next episode. I'm going to tell you my top 3. Poland Daily Travel does There's a Will with Nick Richardson. Stay with us. We'll be right back.